Here's a position Lakers are in the offseason. All right. This is just kind of gives everyone, it was a really good breakdown. Jovan Buha did a really good job just kind of breaking down the Lakers' position and their spot. He had that article out this morning. Here's where the Lakers are. First things first. They're not going to have salary cap. So there's not going to be, Lakers are not going to be in a position where, and by the way, a lot of the league does not have a crazy amount of salary cap. That's just kind of the world that the NBA is in right now. It's one of the reasons why I think Rob Pelinka said that the NBA will be very active this summer because you're going to need to make deals. Teams are going to have to do deals together in order to kind of change what the roster looks like and everything else. But here's something to keep in mind of where the Lakers are sitting right now. They're not going to have salary cap. LeBron will eventually, I think we all kind of anticipate LeBron's going to eventually sign his deal. LeBron has a $52.6 million player option. He has to decide by June 29th. So we'll obviously see what he ends up doing. Luka's eligible for a $229 million extension, but that won't happen until August 2nd. And here's kind of a quick little overview of where the Lakers are sitting right now. Let me see here. I wrote down. Okay, so they have 2 future first-round picks that they can trade, but they can't trade them both. They can't trade both picks this summer. So they either can trade 2031 or they could trade 2032. They can't trade both of them. Something to keep in mind. Lakers have over $70 million in expiring contracts. So if you start looking at Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, they have, there's some, it's kind of the best way that the Lakers have into making any kind of move is that they have contracts that are out there that can't expire. That's really kind of the best way that the Lakers can look at it. Couple things to keep in mind as well. And I think, most people already understand this. Austin Reeves will have an opportunity, even though I don't think it's going to happen. Austin Reeves is going to have an opportunity to sign. I think it's an $89 million extension with the Lakers, but that's below his market value. So don't expect him to do that. And then, I think the roster needs, everybody knows Lakers need size. They need some two-way wing defenders. They need a pick and roll partner with Luka. There's a lot of things that the Lakers need. But that's kind of the position that they're in as far as looking at their actual what Pelinka and what JJ Redick in the front office is looking at. That's going to be primarily what the Lakers are looking at. I will tell you guys this, and I don't know how most people feel about the Lakers this offseason, but I'm so much more, I don't know if optimistic is the right word. Maybe I'm just excited about it because I know the Lakers have to make real changes. I'm more excited this offseason than I've been in the past because I always felt like, well, LeBron and AD, I kind of already feel like what that is going to total. I kind of already feel like I know what that is already. I feel like we've already seen the best of the best when it comes to those two. So this offseason is a very unique one because this is the first offseason that you actually are trying to build around Luka. This is the first offseason that you have a head coach that now actually gets a chance. There's no question mark of who your head coach is, what his philosophy is, and everything else. You kind of get a head start on a lot of things. Lakers didn't have that last offseason. Obviously, they made the trade at the trade deadline, so that has a lot to do with it as well. They weren't able to make the proper roster changes in order to kind of accommodate the Luka Doncic era. And this is going to be the first summer that they get to do it. One of my topics here that I put on here, pressure on Pelinka. Let me properly explain what I mean by pressure on Pelinka, because I think that's going to tell a little bit of the story of where the Lakers are sitting right here. The pressure on Pelinka is you were eliminated in the first round in 5 games. I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't want to hear, hey, yeah, LeBron had a knee issue. He suffered that in game 5. Lakers were already, they were already getting dominated in that series. I don't want to hear any excuses, but Lakers got their ass kicked by Minnesota. And frankly, Minnesota has not been good against the Golden State Warriors, which I think, and that's without Steph Curry, which I think is more of an indictment on the Lakers and their roster and everything else. The one good thing I'll tell you about the Lakers getting their asses kicked in the first round, there is no story to be told. Hey, if we just make this small little tweak here, I think we're good. Hey, if we just if JJ Redick just learns from some of his mistakes in the playoffs, I think we're good. If we just give Jordan Goodwin or Gabe Vincent a little bit more playing time, I think the Lakers would be okay. No, clearly the Lakers could not hang with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they got to make some drastic changes here. So one of the reasons why I am excited about it, I think Pelinka's juggling a few different things here, and I'll go in order of what I think is most relevant. He's trying to accommodate Luka, he's trying to accommodate LeBron, and he's trying to accommodate the fan base. Frankly, I think accommodating to the fan base is the least important thing on that list, because if you accommodate the other ones, the fan base will follow if you're making the right decisions. He's got to accommodate Luka. That's the pressure that's on Rob Pelinka this summer is, I got to make sure that Luka Doncic, who I traded for, which everybody thinks, the Lakers fleeced the Dallas Mavericks, and why Nico Harrison, looks and the perception of the Dallas Mavericks is what it is. I got to make sure that I'm accommodating to Luka Doncic, and I think he's going to do everything he can to obviously accommodate that. He's going to have to be creative. And this is a conversation that we've already had. Bill Plaschke and the LA Times have this article, A Painful Truth. Lakers must trade Austin Reeves. I don't know what paths the Lakers have, and I don't know how creative he can be in keeping Austin Reeves in the roster, but this is what I'm talking about it's an exciting offseason in front of the Lakers, because I do think there's a lot that they have to do. I do think they have some assets. The best asset they have is Austin Reeves, and it's going to be up to Rob Pelinka to try to figure out how to juggle everything. And listen, maybe the front office and Jeannie Buss, they all love Austin Reeves. All right, awesome, phenomenal. I get it. He's a really, really good player. Came up through the Lakers system, the whole thing. Are you building a contender or not? And can you see Luka and Austin Reeves in your backcourt as a contender, or are you trying to go get that big man that the Lakers desperately need? We'll have to wait and find out. All right, let me look at some of the comments here. Let's take a look and kind of keep things rolling here. HH, thank you, brother. I appreciate you. By the way, this Austin Reeves thing, I think for me, more than anything else, it is now becoming a real conversation. There is no, I think, unless the Lakers are able to be truly creative and put together a roster. And, oh, by the way, maybe take Austin Reeves and say, Reeves, all right, the best way we can use Reeves is coming off the bench. And if Reeves is coming off the bench, then this is how we're going to do it. If they got a game plan of how to make that happen, then let's see what it looks like. But I think it's going to be tough to see what that plan exactly looks like. Let's see what we got here. 5 years. Give him 5 more, 10 years, no title. Sounds like a successful 10-year for Rob. Lakers are pathetic. Every year since LeBron James has been here, they need more help. Lakers are not winning any more championships while LeBron James is there, and people need to accept it. By the way, you could be right. Let me throw this one out there. What's more likely? Lakers win a championship with LeBron in the next couple of years, or they don't? More likely, they don't. I mean, go look at the West. I mean, I was just talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Giannis Antetokounmpo piece. If this dude came to the Western Conference and he's on San Antonio, so wait a minute. So that means you got the Oklahoma City Thunder who have more assets than freaking, I don't know, take the entire NBA and combine them. I don't think they have as many draft assets as OKC. By the way, OKC can still win the championship this year. Denver will be desperate to make sure Jokic is happy. Golden State will continue to go all in until Steph Curry retires. I haven't even named out the Houston Rockets. I haven't even talked about what are some other teams in the Western Conference, just kind of right off the top of our head. Minnesota obviously will be in the mix. I mean, there's so many teams in the Western Conference. I'm probably missing a team or two. All right, let's see what else we got here. Wolves lucky Curry injured. Victor, you're right. Is anybody else watching that series? Because that is not the same Minnesota. Either one of two things. Either Minnesota's not that good, or the Lakers were just that bad. Or the Golden State Warriors are just phenomenal, and we all kind of not underestimated them, but they're hanging with the Minnesota Timberwolves without their best player. Imagine if the Lakers had to play Minnesota without Luka. And that's kind of, the position that the Warriors are in, and they're still hanging with them. Will they probably lose the series? maybe most likely. But if they do lose the series, it's not because Minnesota was better, literally because Steph Curry had an injury. Let's be real. Giannis doesn't want to play with LeBron. Remember what he said right after our first ring. Yeah, I think if he wants to be a Laker, I don't think that matters. I don't think LeBron matters because we know LeBron's in his final year or second to final year or something along those lines. I just hope the Thunder don't try to trade for Giannis. They have a buttload of draft pieces. I think a lot of that's going to have to do with how far they go this year. I think a lot of it has to do with how far they go this year. Chris, talking about that series, we're going to get into some of these NBA playoff series, so don't worry. I'm going to hit on a couple things. Golden State's being coached better and has a better bench. I mean, the coached better, that's a whole different world. What's kind of – I mentioned this on Friday. They had a game on Thursday night, the Golden State Warriors. That's the game I think they lost in Minnesota, and I think they played 13 guys. And was that in Minnesota or was that in Golden State? Yeah, I think it's 2-1 right now. They played 13 guys, and Steve Kerr was like, yeah, I had a recipe with Steph Curry that I knew how to win. Now we don't have that recipe anymore. So now I'm just throwing all these different ingredients in there. He basically used game 2 to figure out what am I going to do for game 3. Steve Kerr is one of the best in the league. So, from a coaching perspective, they're on completely two opposite spectrums in regards to that. Okay, let me just kind of sum this up here real quick because I know this news came out this morning. Giannis obviously he's open to going somewhere. Where does he go? It's going to depend on, what draft or what package is out there that the Milwaukee Bucks can look at and say, all right. But I do think the timing of all this is in the best interest of both sides. If Giannis wants out, he could potentially play somewhere for 2 years, right? Obviously it's got to be the right team. And if the Milwaukee Bucks want to make a trade and they understand the Giannis days are over, to still have 2 more years left on his contract is probably when you're going to get the most value that you possibly can. So, I think obviously a lot comes with that. If the Lakers got any shot, we all kind of know what that shot's going to be. That shot's just specifically going to be completely based around Giannis saying, I want to be a Laker and I want to play with Luka Doncic. We'll see what happens. Most likely, what is going to happen, he probably ends up with a different team. I mean, if the Lakers are able to pull off Luka and Giannis in the span of 6 months, I mean, that would be one of the most absurd off seasons or one of the absurd 6 months in the history of the NBA. Most likely what happens, he probably ends up with a different team. Milwaukee gets a draft package they're looking for. And maybe Giannis doesn't need to be, with Luka and the Lakers, but that to me is the only way the Lakers probably get their hands on Giannis is demanding he wants to play with one team. It's the Lakers. And if that doesn't happen, then I don't see how the Lakers are making a deal for Giannis. All right, thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.